This property was free. We actually got this for nothing, spent £40,000 on it, and it got revalued at £400,000 as a 3-bed mews house. Now, we did this with a simple trick that many property investors miss. Watch the video to find out more. At the back end of 2019, we actually came to have a look at this site here, which was basically a commercial premises with a dilapidated 3-bedroom flat above. We had the same strategy in mind of potentially doing a commercial to residential with the commercial element and keeping a small part of the commercial and changing the uppers to a 5-6 bed HMO. When I went to have a look at this site, it was up for $495, and I know what you're thinking, how can it be free if it was up for $495? Well, you're going to need to watch the end of the video and I'll explain. So once we viewed the flat, we saw that this can be easily modified into 6 ensuite rooms over 3 floors using the usual strategy that we do with our HMOs. The commercial element could potentially be split to a commercial element and a studio / 1-bedroom flat. But like everything, I always want to have a look around the whole building so I can understand and see if there's anything that I actually missed. So I actually walked up this road, and there's a little alleyway that leads to a service road, and I wanted to see what was at the back of this service road. So follow me and I'll show you what I actually saw. So I got to this point here and I actually saw what was a 60 square meter detached garage building consisting of 2 garage doors. The first question I asked the agent was actually, who owns this? The agent replied with that this is basically owned by the landlord, but it's not included in the sale. And as you can see from the photos here, this was actually in such a poor condition. The roof was caving in, the brickwork was being damaged by years of rain. And to be honest, it wasn't even worth renting out. No one would probably even give you £50 a month for it. I saw this as a liability, but I knew something that the agent didn't on how I can actually utilize this space. I said to the agent, look, I'll give you the $495 that you wanted, so the asking price, but ask the landlord to throw this garage in for free, as I wanted to use it for storage during the course of the build. So what was the opportunity that I saw? Well, I knew from what the agent has said, this building has been used auxiliary use by the retail unit over many years. So this would actually benefited from prior approval rights, commercial to residential, to actually change this to residential use. I didn't want to let this on at that moment to the agent. I just wanted the sale to go through nice and smooth, and we could then have a look at putting in a simple application for £96 to change the use of this building. So what do I mean by auxiliary use? Well, auxiliary use means that this is actually being used by the other commercial aspect and therefore would actually benefit from the same rights as the retail or commercial unit. You may need some proof. This may actually come by form of a stat deck from the seller to confirm, this is being used, and there may be some questions to be asked from the council to tick off the 5 points that you typically have when putting in a prior approval application. If you can check off all of those, you'll have certainty that you'll be able to obtain planning permission, which we did. So their land actually cost us £0, and it was on a separate title deed, which therefore makes it a lot easier for you to get it refinanced afterwards. The cost of the works, including basically insulating, plumbing, electrics, the kitchen, we actually got it at £40,000 back in 2020. Obviously, this will be a lot more today because with inflation and the rise of materials has increased the cost. So maybe something like this would have cost us £60,000–65,000 today. But the GDV on this, based on where it was located, was £400,000. We basically 10x this property. There's a £360,000 uplift. And we've got basically a family that's been living in this now for close to 4 years. So what can you take from this as advice? Well, I would suggest keep an open mind. Don't be scared to walk the patch, walk the area around the property and look for opportunities that other investors would miss. So we had, for this site, 30 people that actually looked at it. We were probably one of a handful that made an offer for it. The difference between us and the other guys, we had 2 strategies that we're going to implement within this deal. One being the HMO element to make the most of the uppers of this commercial. And then 2 was using commercial to residential to actually obtain this within 3 sort of months of starting work. So keep that open mind. Don't be scared to look around the building, take photos, revisit it when you come back home. Look at what you may be missing and how you can get the most out of that site. We put this deal forward for the Property Investor Awards in 2021, and we ended up winning this award. We had majority of the judges voting 10 on every aspect of the deal. This is from the design, the planning aspect, the finish, the end gross value. And I ended up bumping into Jay Howard from the Property Investor Awards, a fellow judge now, and he said he's never voted 10 on an award before, but this was actually the first time he's done this. And this basically set the pedestal for us to push on with other aspects of our business. Now, if you want to learn more on how you can use 2 strategies, HMO, commercial to residential, and do deals like this one right here, well, we've got the right thing for you. On the 27th of April, we're actually going to be at the Rembrandt Hotel in Knightsbridge, where we'll be teaching our strategies to yourself. We'll be joined by members of CPC Finance. We've got Amy Richardson, the property tax queen, telling you how to structure your deals. And we've got Justin Cooper from Octane Capital giving a lender's perspective. It's not a date to be missed. Check the link in the bio for more information.